Well, my name is Max Schulz. I'm a faculty member out of San Diego, California, co-owner of Coco Maya Restaurant and Little Italy, and co-founder, co-owner of Aroma Cocktails, also based out of San Diego. So I'm from Vallejo, California. It's about 40 minutes east of San Francisco in Northern California. Pretty much started up there, came down to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, where I did ME, so I'm a manufacturing engineer here in San Diego. Played some football up there, kept going south, and ended up going north up to Canada, playing some more football for the CFL. After the CFL, I went to actually Munich. Damn, that's far. Went all the way to Munich, played some ball there, and then the Rattlers in Arizona, and then to the Oakland Raiders back when they actually did play in Oakland in the Napa train camp. From there, I came down to San Diego, moved over here, started working in manufacturing engineering for packaging. Did a lot of the biomed, life science, and pharmaceutical packaging in the San Diego area. And then as San Diego took off with beverage being one of the brew capitals of the world, I took a Ballast Point from their start really into their sail through Constellation. And Coronado Brewing, Belching Beaver, AleSmith, and Green Flash. A lot of the local companies that have grown here and now sold, but when the beer boom was hot, did really, really well. I actually love to go out with my friends to restaurants, go have a really big dinner, good drinks, go out, go dancing, go traveling. Traveling is probably my biggest passion these days. And of course, driving and being able to do, whether it's a racetrack day or really be able to go with all your friends up to the mountain, just kind of have like a nice day where you're just not thinking about anything and it's just you on the road. Traveling destinations where you drive, the Nuremberg would be nice, but shipping this car overseas is a nice 20 grand, that'll set you back. But I'd say here, the Crest Highway up in Los Angeles is really nice. Palomar Mountain's great. Laguna is a really quick one. When you have more time, thermal racetrack when it's not hot, like say the winter time and maybe up to this threshold in spring, is a really good place to go. If you want like a track focus day. I think the best place in California though is the North Coast. So going from Sonoma, now they call it Sonoma Raceway. That drive on the PCH going all the way to like Fort Bragg and maybe into Sacramento or Napa, Sonoma, and Healdsburg, and up into Tahoe and then back down. I think that's the best drive in California. I chose slow because of its education. I had Division I scholarships to Texas A&M, would have been playing against Johnny Manziel. Quarterback, I would have been at Arizona State or Minnesota, but I chose slow because it's one of the best engineering schools in the country. There's something to say about when you can get out of school and have a ton of jobs lined up for you. Cal Poly, without a doubt, did that. So coming out of there with an engineering and business degree, to come here after the football and be able to just go right into like a really nice manufacturing job where you're designing, structuralizing, and use Ardios-TAD for packaging, learning tolerances of different materials like paper, aluminum, resin. You see a lot of different businesses function. Like I said earlier, anything from pharmaceutical, where you have like a class 1 through 3 medical device that has to be UV gamma radiated in order to get rid of all the particulate and any bacteria. That way it can insert into your body. That's the most complicated, all the way over to something simple like glass manufacturing, where you're like blowing glass, which is stand in oil, superheated, and then pushed through that in an iron mold and cast out into the millions that you see for Anheuser-Busch or Miller Coors. More of the fun things like that. So you get to see different facets of manufacturing and businesses around the world and learn about it. Say I started working after football at 23. My last week of training camp was July of 2013 under Dennis Allen. I was frankly just dropped and I came here to work. I started as an employee. It's a hybrid between a sales rep and an engineer because we're using Ardios-TAD, we're using a Kongsberg CAD table, a foam table, and all the raw materials to then go make the packaging, but we're also vertically integrated. So I actually had the mill and we had the furnaces and we were multinational around the world, so you could pick where you manufacture depending on where your end ship to was. I was as an employee for 10 years. But then saving that money, getting older, really going from 23 to 25 to 27, I was able to put that money away and start investing into, obviously, the stock market. It's an easy one. Crypto, back when it was not as crazy as it is now, and also buying property. So I bought my first house when I was 29. I bought my first supercar. It was my GT3 99 1.2 stick shift, black on black. Still my favorite car to this day when I was 29 as well. And I just leveraged the capital that I was getting in my job, growing into my job, to buy property and then rent it. Like I was renting the downstairs of my current residence here. I built this garage and this 3-story building that has a 2-bedroom, 2-bath as well. Started renting that. And then I started investing into things like a restaurant, like Coco Maya downtown, and just kept going, finding things that are fun and that I have passion about. Like a restaurant, it's a nightmare, I'll be honest with you, but it is fun to get done with a week of work and bring all your friends to the bar and grab shots and eat food and have a good time. So I'm an employee in a company. I have my own company. I invest in other junctures, angel investing in other companies. Fast Lane Drive, I started Utah and now we're going to do Tokyo. So there's that, Kokomaya, the restaurants, and then the housing. So it's like, yeah, you work for somebody, but then you can start working for yourself and you shoot your shots where you can. I knew cars had an important place in my life when I was like 5, and I was in my dad's 325 IS. I think it was an 89, and we would drive up through the coast from Vallejo, California, right past Sonoma Raceway, and past all the GT Cup cars that they house up there, and then into the North Coast, which is Sea Ranch, California, in Fort Bragg. And he'd drive us up there to go camping and to go ab diving, and I thought it was the coolest thing since sliced bread. Cars have shaped my life in, frankly, entertainment. We've all seen movies. We've all seen Fast and Furious. At least in my time, Fast and Furious was when I was in high school. You see a movie like that for the first time and you think that's the coolest thing. I'm pretty sure any guy on the planet with a pulse always has, whether it's his Ford Mustang, whether it's a fastback, or whether it's the Porsche, whether it's a Lamborghini, they have their dream car, or they aspire to be successful. And success, as at least as the media portrays it, is having that really cool car, having that really nice house, and being able to go vacation and drive around and have a blast. This car was actually a Ferrari as a kid, but as I got to drive them a little bit, and I got to drive the Lamborghini and the Porsche and even the McLaren, I found that, my personal opinion, the best cornering ability for a car straight out of the box is a Porsche. And that's what I like to do. I think going straight in a line is pretty boring. Definition of success for me is being able to do what you love and getting paid for it. I'll say no, the car, no. Being around like-minded individuals that are also successful in their own right and come from different portions of life where they've had success, and then you merge those people together, I think that's the secret sauce, really. You get a really nice car and you're just gonna have success and have a great life. I don't think that's how it works. I think when you become successful in your own right and you save enough money and you can grab a few nice things, that commonality of, say, automotive spirit in bringing people together from a myriad of different places in life, that is the common denominator of what, like, success in one right. You have great people with a like mind for automotive, which is frankly around the world, man and machine since the start of time really have been one. You get like a nice sauce out of it. You get Fast Lane out of it, actually. It's one really cool thing that kind of came out of this whole thing. I wanted to do, I guess, a licensing and Fast Lane Drive because I really liked the people. Like, I have some really, really close friends in this club. I genuinely enjoy being around those people. They're happy, they're successful, they're a breath of fresh air. For me, expanding into Utah was kind of a hybrid thing. I had friends that I played football against at Utah. They lived there. We didn't have a chapter there. We didn't have a ski chapter yet. We all love to ski and snowboard. I definitely do. So I was like, okay, I have some friends. They like these really nice cars too. We all love to ski. Let's make this happen. And that's why we did Utah. Going into why we made Japan and Tokyo, we don't have any places in Asia. Asia accounts for probably about half the world in terms of population, maybe even more, in terms of billions of people and just sheer landmass. So I went to Tokyo, visited a friend of mine that's a nuclear engineer for our naval forces, extremely intelligent individual, really nice guy, and he lives there. And I've always been fascinated with Japanese culture, love sushi, love the cars, love the people, love their general respect and the way they do things, their infrastructure in life. We don't have anything in Asia. So putting a friend again with our friends here and the fact that he's there and that we don't have it and they could add to the culture of Fast Lane, I think we really needed that extra step of international culture. Like, yeah, we have Western Europe, but nothing in Asia. We saw a fit for that. I think everyone kind of jumped on that train. They understood it and liked it. And that's why we made Tokyo. I see Fast Lane going, of course, into more states over the next 5-10 years. But I would say, I think you get to a point where you have like an international gathering. Whereas like, yeah, we have multi-chapter events now. I think you get to a point where you could have a mega chapter event where you choose like, say, one place in the world where it is like a one every 2 years thing. Literally everyone goes to it. And it's maybe a next step beyond multi-chapter where you also involve some pretty large name sponsorships from companies that we know around the world. Like, imagine if Porsche got involved and we all got to go to the Porsche manufacturing plant in Stuttgart, Germany. That would be next level. For Fast Lane, I don't think there is an average persona. It's far from it. You find an average persona, I think, outside of Fast Lane. But in Fast Lane, everyone's honestly, they're an individual thinker, and that's why they're successful. That's probably why they're even in Fast Lane. My favorite car brand is Porsche. I think when you put class, elegance, manufacturing, reliability, and performance and history all together, you get Porsche. That's why I love it. The car it really is when you're in it, the drivetrain, your connectivity between you, the steering wheel, and the road. And for all my engineers out here that know what I'm speaking of, there is nothing like it. There's close things, but there's nothing really like it. The most overrated car in my opinion is the Lamborghini. You could say some of the older Huracans are. The Stowe works great, but I'd say the other ones, you have 4,000 pounds and a V12 that is moving, and it's fun as hell to drive, no doubt. Like in a straight line, it's great, but trying to move that 4,000 pounds over a hairpin turn without going into the wall, like, good luck with that. I think everyone has their own opinion. I would say though, that opinion will be in my rearview mirror. I think the 458 is probably one of the most underrated cars. I think there's a lot of people that love it, and there's a lot of people that kind of maybe forgot about it, but that car is something else. I had a GT3 991.2, and then I actually had a Technica on order, but then I drove it and I was like, wow, or I drove its predecessor and I was like, wow, this is basically an R8 with a couple of extra suspension mods. And then I drove the 458 and I loved it, but it was really, really overpriced because it was really hard to grab. So I grabbed the GT3 pretty much out of balance. I knew that the car was going to be a great drive. I knew that it was highly sought after. I knew that if it bought at the correct price, I would basically make money on the car like I did on my GT3 991.2, and drove it, and I ended up making 60 over on it while having an amazing time with it. So it's a myriad. It was the quality of the car, the manufacturer's warranty that I'm gonna get with it, the value that's gonna stay with it, its speed, and its overall fun and reliability, and the fact that I can hold on to it for a few years and it's really not gonna lose any value. I do agree, actually, that the GT3 RS and GT3 are underpowered. They're using a 6-cylinder still, the same 4.0 they've had since they've changed from the 3.8 and the 991. But that's the whole purpose of the car, I think, is that you're supposed to keep the car in high rev, so that way that underpowered feeling isn't felt. So if you're driving the car correctly and you're keeping your revs high, which is meant to do for a very long period of time, that doesn't exist. Because on the freeway, wherever you're at on a track, when you're already at speed, that's not a problem. And if you keep speed, it's not a problem. My personal opinion for the car and what I will do to this car is I will put a 4.5 and I'll stroke it. There's a guy, Demand Motorsports, out of New York that makes an insane 4.5. His videos are all over YouTube with Matt Farah, and I think you put that extra 100 pounds of torque in the car and it's 100 extra horsepower, it's already really fast and ready to go. That's just next level. I think the GT3 RS and GT3 are going to continue to have an actually aspirated car, and also with the standard speed offered, because that's just the DNA. I think the GT2s, of course, they're going to have, your twin turbo, and I think that's where you're going to get your evolution of, okay, we'll keep the twin turbo on it, but also probably going to add electricity. So they're going to make it electric and they're going to have it as a twin turbo. But that'll stay with the GT2, which is still in the GT line. But then the people that are the purists that like these, I would imagine they'll end up going to a 4.1 or 4.2. I don't see them jumping to 4.5 off the bat, but I think it'll say NA, and I don't think they're going to put electric engines on it, because as we've seen in the marketplace and with the stocks, with pretty much everybody, people don't want electric cars. Not everybody. The best car I buy as an investment is one of these. The GT3 991.2 that I had sold for $60,000 over what I paid for it after driving it for over a year and a half. I think it's still a Porsche. I don't know if we're counting 911s as an entry car, but a 911 GTS even. You get a 911 GTS at a good price, the car's gonna hold its value. You get a GT3 at a decent price. Cars, even the old ones, the 991s, 991.2s, they're holding their value. Those are probably the entry level, reliable, and also the best cars you can have, where you can actually make some money at the end of it, or not lose money. The best advice I would give myself 10 years ago is never invest in a restaurant. And I'd also say be very careful with angel funding. And while it is good to spread out your cash in the different industries, I'd say sticking with what you know best is going to help you in the long run. Also, not making large deposits in any single one entity, but rather kind of a scatter plot is the best way to go. And I kind of did half and half. Luckily, I ended up okay, and with multiple streams of income, it's easier, but that's what I would say 10 years ago. Everyone in Fastlane, I met a lot of you guys, and we've gone out, we've had some fun times around the world, whether it's Mykonos, whether it's Miami, whether it's here, whether it's Utah. I'm really looking forward to opening up Tokyo. We have a really good group of people that are there on the ground. I've personally been out there, embedded this entire space, the car industry, and I'm not kidding when I say if you've seen Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, if you've seen Fast and Furious 1 with the race wars they did out in like the desert, imagine that, but in Japan, in the middle of the bay, like as if it's our San Diego Bay, which Yokohama, Japan is actually our sister city in real life. Just imagine that, but with people from around the world in cars, whether it's Ferraris, Lamborghinis, GTRs, just anything. I'd say strap on your socks, get your ass on a plane, and when we do the Multi chapter in Japan, that thing is going to be absolutely insane, and we're all going to have a blast. Thank you guys for watching. We're going to have some really good times in the future, and I got to say, if you're seeing these anywhere at any of the stores, support us. Aroma, we're going national, and actually we're going to Italy, so help us out, and hit me up anytime. Do you guys want some espresso martinis or some carajillos? I got you. Later, guys.